14 News at 9 starts now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us 1 hour earlier. I'm Rachel Kim. Today, Texas has fewer rural counties than ever before. According to recent reports, places that once were out in the country are in town. For example, Waxahachie and Weatherford are quickly becoming integrated into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Employment growth is still relatively slow in rural Texas, and unemployment often remains high. Higher productivity continues to eliminate farm jobs, and fewer rural counties are economically dependent on farming. When it comes to education, college completion rates continue to lag. Now, all over the state, schools are shutting down because there aren't enough kids to keep them open. And this area of Texas is no exception. In fact, some schools are shutting their doors this month. Fox 14's Shelley Richards takes a look into the decline of rural Texas in this special report.
It's a typical morning in Maple, Texas, but one of the few typical days left for three-way school.
This year has been a hard year for the community because of the closing of the school.
Tom Alvis has been the superintendent here twice. He came back this year to help the school tie up some loose ends, because when this semester ends, so does three-way.
It's very, very difficult, and when you run out of children and you run out of money, that makes it difficult to operate a real quality program.
There are 66 kids who come to school here, but the decision is especially hard on kids like Anthony Ferguson.
My dad graduated here in '73, and all of his brothers and sisters did. I've been here since I was in kindergarten too, so our family's been here for a long time.
Anthony will be the final one in his family to walk across this stage.
It really hadn't hit yet, you know, but it's starting to. Probably about when I walk out during graduation. Probably when it's going to hit the worst.
But here in rural Texas, when a school shuts down, it hurts more than the children. Usually it hurts the community as well. For instance, this used to be the Goodland Schoolhouse. The doors were shut for good almost 50 years ago when Goodland consolidated with two other school districts to create the three-way school district. But this isn't the only building that ended up looking like this. Next, the gas station closed down. Then came the grocery store, then the post office. And one by one, as families began moving out of the area looking for work, all of the houses were abandoned as well.
Goodland had a store and a post office back then, but now you've got to drive 20 miles to Morton or 38 miles to Muleshoe to buy groceries.
So how does a small town go from being a thriving community to a virtual ghost town? The locals say it all has to do with the decline in agriculture.
There's not any young farmers anymore, so the kids they do have go off and they don't come back. They get into industry or something else that is more lucrative or more stable.
Marvin McCall runs the Maple Co-op, the local gin. His is one of the only businesses that's actually growing, only because the other gins around are shutting down.
You know, they have to battle the elements, the weather, the crop prices. They don't know if they're going to make a crop every year or not, and then they don't have the money to do it. So they have to get larger and larger and larger in order to just break even.
Which brings us back to three-way school. Most of the kids will be bused to Sudan next year. That's a good half hour away. As for the graduating class, all 8 kids, including Anthony, say they plan to go to college. And if they do, chances are they won't come back.
I don't know, nobody's doing it anymore. You know, everybody's getting out of farming, but it's still a possibility.
And if they don't settle here and bring their kids back to the area, some speculate that years from now, Sudan could suffer the same fate as three-way, which is suffering the same fate as Goodland. And the decline of rural Texas will continue. On the Texas-New Mexico border, Shelley Richards, Fox 14.